when I look at this team, we saw the Buffalo game, and you're going, man, you dominated the Bills and Josh Allen. And then the Cowboys, you dominated for 3 quarters. And yes, the Cowboys have some issues, but they had nothing. They were lifeless. But it's those moments in an instant where it's like was like a hot pot, or an instant pot. Something, it just gets cooking really quickly. And that's been the problem for Baltimore. And that's put them in some tough situations.
Yeah, well, fourth quarter has been a huge problem, obviously, too. And so much so that Ed Reed mentioned on the ManningCast that it was a problem, like that they're not going to win championships, or they're not a championship defense, thinking that they won the game in the fourth quarter. And it was kind of a little bit startling to see Ed Reed just be out with it, but we know he doesn't mince words. However, Kyle Van Noy actually ended up responding to this as well. And he was on his podcast basically saying, hey, Ed Reed's right. I don't think that anything that Ed Reed said was wrong, and that we got to be better. So take a listen to his reaction.
Some lulls at the end, which we got to figure that out. If we're trying to be a championship team, we got to cut it out. I saw the comments of Ed Reed, and he's right. If we're trying to win a championship, we got to cut that out at the end of the game. And that's the difference between a good team and a great team. And we're not there yet. And that's the beauty of it. We're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to get better. There was a lot of great things in this game, but we got to cut it out at the end of the games. We are better than that. And we'll figure it out.
It's a good point, Brad. I'm glad you brought that video up. And also, this is why I love Kyle Van Noy, by the way, is that he's just going, yeah, we need to be better. And he's not even arguing that. There's no excuse. There's no anything. It's like, yep, we got to. But the one thing that the Ravens do have that's a luxury, when you are finding ways to win games, and now you're sitting at 5-2, it sure makes it a whole hell of a lot easier to be able to continue to try to figure it out than you are like the New York Jets, where, hey, you have no room for error. Baltimore has room for error, but with their schedule coming up, Kevin, this is where they're going to have to pick it up, because let's face it right now, they're going to be facing some teams where you're going to have to face Pittsburgh twice. Cincinnati's coming to Baltimore. And then on top of it, you are still going to have to play a game against a team like Houston and an offense that is talented like the Eagles. There's a lot of good tests that are upcoming for the team.
Here's my bar of the week / bar of the month. And Zach already knows because I said it on Kevin and Zach React. Garbage time is garbage time for a reason, but it's not an excuse to be garbage. There is a precedent with garbage time that, yes, you're going to play prevent defense. You might take your foot up off the gas maybe a little bit, but you got to finish the games and play 60 minutes. I mean, like, we talked about this on the offensive side of the ball, didn't we? After that week 3 game against the Cowboys, Lamar Jackson was very clear in his messaging of like, man, 60-minute football, foot on the gas, don't let up. John Harbaugh goes for it, up 17 in the third quarter, 4th and goal for a touchdown. It turns out they needed it to win the game because the defense just kind of gave it up at the end. And so to me, when you look at the next month, right, we talked about that. Obviously, it is the Browns, and then you got Bo Nix, and then you got Joe Burrow, and then it's whoever it's going to be between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. We can say this schedule early on has been a gauntlet for a new defensive coordinator. You got Patrick Mahomes, and apparently Raven Killer Gardner Minshew doesn't lose to them anymore. Apparently, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, future Hall of Famers, MVP candidates. Like, that's tough. But this Ravens team is contending for a Super Bowl. There's not the excuse of, there's going to be learning. Yes, there is. But at the end of the day, if you have to take a year to learn for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, that's going to hurt your shot at winning a Super Bowl. So this next month is going to tell me a lot about this defense, because now that gauntlet is going to come to a little bit of a slow stop. You get to play some quarterbacks and some offenses that are struggling. And if you can't get it done, albeit, maybe we'll take the Bengals out of that conversation, but against Pittsburgh, Denver, and Cleveland, then I think we got bigger issues.
Yeah. And those are games they should, and right now it is Cleveland next, Denver, and then though it's Cincy. And I'll tell you what,
Cleveland's going to be tough.
And Cleveland probably has their best chance because of who's the starting quarterback. And you guys saw the news.
Sling it.
Deshaun Watson's out, but they do have a gunslinger over there, and he's known for his theatrical speeches as well. But famous Jameis Winston is going to be at the helm there and new play caller. So if there's any shot of life, the Browns might give them their best shot this weekend, Zach.
Yeah. And I think this is, does this feel like a trap for the Ravens?
It does.
It
It
just
does.
screams trap. This is the game that I look at the schedule, especially with, like you said, Dorsey now calling plays. You got Jameis Winston in there. They've got a shot of life that I think this Browns team needed. You never question the Browns defense. That defense is always going to be great. It was the fact that they had a historically bad quarterback playing. Look at the stats. Take everything off the field that happened, throw that away. Look at the stats. Historically bad quarterback play. That changes. Like, it is very hard for them to replicate how poor Deshaun Watson was playing. So pretty much anything was going to be an upgrade.